Anaam from the Nagual zone here. Today is the last day of the year, according to the Gregorian calendar, which is very flawed. A whole different topic, but there you go. I don't think in terms of New Year and December and January. I don't think in that way. My training has allowed me to think in terms of seasons and solstices, which are far more factual than a kind of arbitrary Gregorian calendar business. So with that, I wish you a beautiful, bountiful, prosperous, knowledgeable new cycle of seasons. I want to tackle something very interesting today. I did a video on stalking a few weeks back, a couple of months back, I think. And I got some really interesting comments there that I want to read off to you. So a user called Shaheen commented on that and said, "Hi Anaam, really enjoy listening to you. We'll keep viewing your videos over and over because new layers reveal themselves each time." This is something I tell you all in the comments a lot. Watch those videos not just once. Don't be this content consumer. It's not going to do you any good. No change will happen. The serious ones, people who are really hungry and interested, they watch these videos again and again. Because as he says, new layers reveal themselves each time. It's very, it tells me that this user is hungry. They've got the eye of the tiger, and you need that eye of the tiger, my friends, to be on this path. The moment you think you know something, you've lost to the adversary. You've lost that fight. You've got to dust yourself up, get back up, and assume the curious attitude again. I don't know anything. Let me find out. What more can this video reveal to me? So, with that, he has some really amazing questions. I would like to request you to please do some videos on intention. So here we go. This is the video on intention. What is intending? So there's a few questions he asks, and there's another user about 4 weeks ago who asked similar things. Thank you for these posts, says Thomas Makusevich. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Will you do one about intent, beckoning it, and the edifice that intent places before us? Fabulous, very technical. Also, dusting our connecting link with intent and seizing the cubic centimeter of chance. I love it. I love this. Fabulous, fabulous. Someone has done their homework. I like it. I like it. So here we go. Let's deal with Shaheen, which is basically they're the same questions. So, what is intending? Oh, I love this. I had a session with my apprentice yesterday. Beautiful, powerful man called David. No need to give you the last name. And he's a fabulous person, hungry, got the eye of the tiger. These are the only kind of people I work with. So we were talking about exactly this, the power of intending. And he's going through a huge learning curve right now, learning exactly this. Exactly. Then I'll tell you what this is. What is intending? Intending boils down to just one thing. The power of your decision. The power of your decision. There's a very beautiful quote in the Bible where for some reason or the other, someone asks Yeshua, Jesus, something or the other is asked him, and his reply is amazing. Amazing reply. I love it. He says, "Let your yes be yes, and your no be no. Anything else comes not from your Father in heaven, but from the adversary." I urge you to rewind what I just said and listen to that again. There's an energy there that I want you to absorb. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Anything else does not come from the divine source within you, but from the foreign installation. We're getting somewhere now. Most of you do not understand the power of your decision because, you know why? We were busy studying fucking nonsense like geometry and algebra and cutting open frogs, live frogs, looking at worms and all this nonsense in school when we should have been being taught about what really is energy and how does it flow in this universe. What is intending? What is the power of your decision? What force have you got within you that can allow you to eventually overcome anything that life throws at you, and for that one instant become a man or woman of knowledge, right? So, intending is when you decide and your yes becomes yes. Now, this is what I was telling David yesterday. I was saying, if you ask anyone who lives with me, right? That's when you really get to know someone, right? When you live with them. And you ask them, is there any way to get Anaam to change his mind once he says no to something? And they will unanimously say, they will be perplexed. Everyone who knows me will kind of like, ooh, yeah, come to think of it, there's no way to get him to do anything that he doesn't want to do. On the other hand, if you ask the same people, if you ask them, once Anaam decides to do something, is there any way to dissuade him from that? And they'll again go, wow, that's a good question. Never thought about that like that. But come to think of it, once he decides something, there's no way to get him off rail, get him distracted, get him to not do that, get him to not finish the task, get him to not be absolutely impeccable with it. You see where this is going? That's what intending is. Let your yes be yes. And once you make that yes, as the crow put it, you've got 1,000 decisions coming your way after that. So do all your faffing about before you decide. Weigh up all your pros and cons and blah, 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 blah. But once you decide, don't look back, because you've got 1,000 other things to be taken care of once that decision is made. That's what intending is. Intending is directly linked with self-responsibility. Because every decision you make brings with it a level of self-responsibility. Now you are now responsible for carrying out that decision to the best of your ability. As soon as you say yes to something, yes, I promise I'll get this done, or yes, I intend to get this done, it falls squarely on your shoulders now to follow through, see that through to its very end, and along the way, learn about impeccability. And what is impeccability? I made a video on this as well. Boils down to one paradigm. Install that software in your head, and my God, I promise, I guarantee you, your whole life will change. And what is impeccability? Leaving things better than you found them. Leaving your thoughts better than you found them. Leaving your energy better than you found it. Leaving others better than you found them. What is a path with heart? In service to your fellow man, to your fellow creatures. Then that service ideally leaves them better than you found them. That is a path with heart. Another video I'll do on that, but gives you a little hint. Now remember, these videos, watch them again. Watch them again and again. I wish YouTube existed when I was undergoing the training. And I wish this channel existed. I would have gained so much by watching all this, right? I would have cut down on so much learning, like trial and error. Having said that, I gained I wouldn't change anything about my training, tough and really tough as it was. That is intending, my friends, the power of your decision. So practice that. Let your no be no. Think about why be aware of why you say no and why you say yes, and follow through with them until you decide your no doesn't change. And until you decide your yes doesn't change. That's intending. Moving on. How does one intend? Let me give you an example. This is something I'm very fond of telling people. Someone came up to Bruce Lee one day and asked him, "Mr. Lee, you are so fast when you kick. Blink an eye and we don't even see you move and you've already kicked. How do I learn to kick faster?" Bruce Lee looked at this man. He was a stuntman in one of his movies. He looked at him and he said, "Kick faster," and walked away. And when I first read this anecdote, I was like, that's so shit. I mean, that's so rubbish. What a rubbish reply. I mean, come on. The guys are, decently asking you, how do I learn to kick like you? And all you have to do is kick faster and piss off from there. But over time, I learned to realize the value of that answer. What a beautiful answer that is. Kick faster. How does one intend? How does one intend? Make a decision. Make a decision. How do you kick faster? Kick faster. It hints to a fabulous truth about the warrior's path, the Toltec way. And what is that hint? That everything you do must be based on action and not academic jerking off. It must be action. You are the laboratory of your life. You action things and find out whether they work or not. You, by trial and error, by falling down again and again, educate yourself about what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Throw away this Castaneda religion. Throw it away. It's of no use. No use whatsoever. Trial and error and action is where it's at. Let's go on. How is it different from just wishing or hoping? I hope you got the answer to that by now. How is it different from just wishing or hoping? Here's the difference. I can wish and hope to kick faster, or I can start kicking faster, and by the 10,000th repetition of that intending to kick faster and really learning by the 10,000th repetition, I can guarantee you that I'll be kicking a lot faster than the first repetition. It's action, my friends, action. You've got to stop jerking off in your mind and act out. Learn to fail. Learn to use your life as a laboratory to grow, to move to higher ground. And there's no one way to do that. You got to find your way. You've got to find your way by falling down again, getting those bruises. Just like children. You've got to find your way, your unique way, your forged path. That only you know the ins and outs of. Only you know the price you have paid to walk that journey of your life. You get me? All right, here we go. Hoping. The warrior never wishes or hopes. The warrior acts. What guidance do we seek to choose what to intend? That's a very good question. I like that. How do we know what to choose to intend? You don't. You don't. Not until you get trained. Again, comes back to training. And you need to invest in yourself through apprenticeships. Not until you are taught the language of quote-unquote spirit. The language. The Crow used to call them omens. Don Juan, as is popularly known, used to refer to them as omens. I call them signs. I call them communications or cosmic winks, which is a nice way for me to think about it. The eagle is constantly communicating with you. The Nagual is constantly communicating with you. But we are blind, we are deaf when we should have been learning how to do all this. These precious life skills, we were being taught all sorts of nonsense that children shouldn't be, you can learn all that when you've grown up. Do you understand? So we missed out. That's why we're blind and deaf and dumb, and we don't know anything about we don't know how to read the signs around us. We need to be trained. We need that level of awareness that allows us to read these signs and know what decisions to make when. Yes, make sense? All right. How does one sustain the energy of our intent over a long period of time? That's a whole video in itself, and it's a fabulous question. Thank you for asking that. How does one sustain the energy of our intent over a long period of time? I'll tell you how to do that. It's exactly the advice I gave, I've been hammering into my apprentices, is you plan for the long cycle. What is a long cycle? A long cycle is 5 years, 10 years of relentless, unbending intent over one thing. So take that intent of yours and mentally plan for at least 2 years. Fine. Too much? Too impatient? 365 days minimum. Every day you're gonna action. You're gonna action on that intent. You're gonna find ways. You're gonna get creative and find ways to action on your decision for the next 365 days. And if you can't even do that, that's a sorry state of affairs, right? There's no willpower there. There's no personal power there. You can't even do something basic like that. So then assess, get to know where you're really at, and then start from there, right? Don't assume you're some big shot who can just, bull your way through this. It don't work like that. We've got to get very honest, guys, with ourselves. Very, very honest. Stop pretending to be better than we really are, and self-assess honestly and see where we're really at, and then start from there. It's not a problem. Any guidance on how to articulate one's intention? Here's what you do. You put on a timer for 5 minutes each day. I like to do 10 minutes, which is it gives a more thorough feeling. And you start talking about loudly. And you use one paradigm to coat it all under. And that paradigm is the paradigm of gratitude. How does that work? So for example, I decide to, my power of decision leads me to create 2 more income streams for myself in the coming cycle of seasons. What do? I put a timer on every day for 10 minutes. I put a timer on my phone, and I start talking about my intent in terms of gratitude. What do? Thank you so much. I can really see these 2 streams of income just flowing to me this year. I can really see it. I can feel the freedom, the abundance it gives me. I'm feeling the blessing of this. This is amazing. I feel like I've overcome and I've learned so much. Establishing these 2 thick, fat, powerful income streams that are just giving me all this amazing energy. And you go on and on and on for 10 minutes. And you do this every day. And eventually, you know what will happen? Your intention will crystallize. Your subconscious divine force, or the eagle force, will go out, literally go out and find the relevant situations, the relevant people, the relevant miracles to make that happen for you. That's how you learn to articulate your intention. And you do this for at least 365 days, or you plan for 5 years. I always give my apprentices 5 years. Learn to think in terms of 5 years. In this day and age, everyone's tired in 5 minutes. Shame. So entitled. No one owes you anything. Life doesn't owe you anything. Life will give you things when it gives you things, and you better learn to wait patiently, or piss off. You can tell I'm in a little, you can tell I like this topic, huh? Sorry for so many questions, but I thank you in advance. Gratitude is the best energy you can give a warrior. I'm telling you, you'll gain an ally for life. And you want warriors as your ally, believe me. Genuine warriors. You want the elite working for you. I'm grateful I found your channel. I'm grateful you took the time to ask these questions, Shaheen. And I'm grateful to the other user who asked similar questions, Thomas. Thank you for these posts. Isn't it amazing to be grateful? Will you do one about intent, beckoning it, and the edifice, connecting cubic centimeter of chance? We're going over the 20-minute mark, and I'd really thought today I'd do a 10-minute video instead. So stay with me. I realize longer videos, attention spans of goldfish and all that. And I'm not saying you have the attention span of a goldfish, but, you know, YouTube. The cubic centimeter of chance. Once you activate your unbending intent, your unwavering decision, once that gets activated, it takes time, depending on how your stamina levels are. For me, it takes no time at all. I can manifest literally anything I want within the time frame I want it in. I have accumulated so much personal power bubbling out of inner silence, a deep well of inner silence, that it works. You know, I can get things, I can get the Nagual to work for me. And at the same time, I'm in service to the Nagual. So it's a beautiful relationship. I don't know how to put this, but you've got to be in relationship with your surroundings, with the energy at large. If you're dissonant with your inner divine force, let's put it that way. If you're dissonant with that, nothing will manifest for you. You'll just get frustrated, and your decision will lose its power. The cubic centimeter of chance will manifest itself once your unbending intent is activated for a length of time. Then it will fall on your training, your fluidity and speed of awareness, whether you are able to grab that opportunity that will come your way. That opportunity will require you, demand that you act immediately, without thinking, spontaneous, faithful action. And cubic centimeters of chance, let me tell you before we wrap up, never falls within your comfort zone. Never. It doesn't. It will always arrive just out of reach, where you have to jump out of your comfort zone, take a leap of faith. But it will always be within grasp. So you're left with, oh my God, do I jump or don't I jump? And that's for you to learn to kick faster. I hope this video makes sense. It makes perfect sense to me. Leave comments. Tell me, what do you think about this? If you have topics, I get so many people asking so many questions, and I try and, there's only so many videos I can do. I like to do once a week. So don't hesitate to ask me what's on your heart, what's on your mind, what's confusing you about the Toltec path. How would you like to maximize your journey? What are your questions? Put them in the comments and tell me what you think of this video. What are your observations about this topic? Unbending intent. There is no warriorship without it, guys. Make no mistake. You are not a warrior. Or let's put it another way. You are a warrior only when you have mastered unbending, relentless intent. With that, walk in freedom, stay connected. I love you all. See you next time.